Got to get a better transition for that. What's going on, guys? I think my mic should be better. I figured it out, what I thought was wrong. Whew, welcome to... Today is Tuesday, right? I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Almost the end of the month. I hope you guys had a good day today. Middle of the week toast. Cheers to all you banditos out there and day trading or swing trading, whatever market country. Hope you all had a fantastic start to your week. I've had 2 pretty decent days. I want to talk a little bit about what I've been doing, at least today, and actually yesterday too. So it was a pretty low conviction week coming into the week. I didn't have a lot that I was excited about. I thought we were toppy and that we were going to come in, but the market's been choppy. So Netflix was a name I really liked for a short today. If you look on a larger time frame, and if you have been in Discord or the T3 room, you know why I like this one. And how we thought it was overextended and that it was going to come in and that it's eventually going to come down in here to like about 1280 or so. More than likely be where it comes into. Be that as it may, on the short term, this topping pattern, I was looking for Netflix to break. Instead of breaking early, it actually reversed, and I was kind of slightly upset with myself for not going long here. But that wasn't my plan, so I didn't do it. But I did think about going long out of the open after, like, it came in, it went short. I did not short here, and then it reversed long. Once you had this test of the breakdown here, you can see the bottom of the zone that kind of failed to break lower. I thought, okay, to myself, we're going to test some highs. So we're going to test 2 levels. So I'm looking for 2 levels. I'm looking for it to pop back up and come into the mid-range of this channel where everything is kind of reversed several times. So at minimum, we're going to come into about where the pivot is today. This was also around where the 5-minute, I believe, 200 was. Let's see, today, 5-minute 200. Messing that up. No, that was about right here, so it went through it. There was some moving average around there. Either way, we reversed, we came back up, and then broke into another leg. Thankfully, we didn't grind into here. We actually exploded through it. We came up, and I started talking about wanting to take a short up here. You broke through this trigger here, and I assumed that we were going to go lower, that we were not going to continue and push higher, that this was just a trick and a trap. And thanks to JR, he's been talking about Netflix short for a while. So that's the trade that I had been looking at doing. And I actually forgot to do my intro. I actually got it all set up and I didn't do that. So let's finish talking about this trade and how we identified it, and then a few other things. But with all that, I'm Gator. Thanks for being here. Obviously, I'm a noob and I forgot how to do an intro and start things because it's been so long. Give me a break. Give me a few sessions to kind of get back in the swing of the things, you know. Hopefully the audio sounds a lot better this time. How's it going, Con? Good to see you in here. Let's see if this works. Let me know if this works. Hopefully that worked. And the audio for it worked. So I was, this has kind of been the way I have been trading the last couple months. It's been a little bit slower, and instead of doing as many hyper scalps, it's trying to see what the charts and what everything is doing on a larger time frame and on a bigger like scale. So I'm not necessarily jumping into anything in the first 5 minutes unless I just really like something. And if I am, I'm not jumping in heavy. Instead, I'm trying to see what's happening. There were some other names I was looking at, but this one, I knew if it got up above 31, and I said over in the VTF that if it got over to 131, I said in Discord I was looking at shorting it here with a stop above 35, that I thought, or adding at 35 because I thought it was going to come lower. He had kind of like a head and shoulders on the hourly, and that we were probably going to break. And I just needed a chance to get into it. And I thought it popping with the market going down was kind of the perfect opportunity to take it shorter. It says there. See about right there. It's nice how that adds up with that. So looking at it, I knew I wanted to trade this, and I knew I wanted to have the opportunity to get into it. So when it came up here and it started kind of topping, I took a short when I started talking about it. I wasn't heavy. I gave myself a lot of room to where I could lose about 1.5 points on this in the trade and not get stopped out. Thanks for letting me know it works. And then I rode, and it's kind of like JR talks about, and what we've talked about some is that, you know, price moves between two different locations. It kind of goes between your two zones, distribution zones, and when we're chopping, we're in a range. And when you look back over a couple of days, and you can kind of see where it's going and where it's going to go. So the assumption is we're going to come back up here. Once we get back up here, we start getting toppy. I did not think there was much chance of this breaking out, and I was willing to take a chance that, you know, you're never 100% on anything. So I was willing to take a chance that we were going to break down. Took it, wrote it down, sold half of my position or so into, not exactly here, it was actually more into the close or into the 2-minute 200 or something. Sold half of the position and then basically just held the rest and added here on this 5-minute break, and then held the rest of it and sold some before I got off. I had to get off, sadly. I missed a lot of this down move as far as being in it heavier because I just wanted to go play with the kids and they were going to bed, and I had some errands I had to run today that I had to go out into town and take care of. So I missed a lot of this move. I did post at 12:45 when I got out of it, which was here. So, which was actually prior to my target. I said when I left, my target was like around 323. It was actually the 161 of this move. So what I kind of want to hit on this video is the market. Sometimes you have inside days. You have days when things are choppy, when things aren't as good as they could be, which it happens a lot. I mean, look at the Qs over here. Like, there's not necessarily a massive direction, right? I mean, we opened up here and we're pretty much inside day. You test the lows, you test the highs, you know, you play in the middle. There's not as many just quick plays. Every day is not like this, or every day is not like this. A lot of days are just like, oh, test the bottom, test the middle, grind back up to the top, up, down, just sideways all day. And then, so there's a lot of, so you have to really be picky. And a lot of times taking heavy size scalps, quick scalps, has not been as effective for me. And I was noticing that I would tilt a little bit and kind of lean into it. But there was always a trade I could take at some point in the day that I had high confidence in, or there were 2 or 3 trades that I could take that I had really high confidence in. And I kind of go over them in the pre-show if you're in the Discord, and we do the morning show at 9 o'clock. You know, we give some trade ideas, or I give mine, look at what other people are looking at. It's like, oh, I like this. I'm going to start kind of widening out some of the names I look at and stuff. I'm like, this is what I think could happen. This is what I'm looking for in this. And then as the day gets going, based on the way the stocks are moving, based on what the Qs are doing, what I think they're going to do, what JR is talking about that they're going to do, I'm like, okay, this is the trade I'm looking for. And so instead of hyper doing everything and kind of just tape reading and scalping and taking wins and taking losses, I've decided to be more relaxed about it, to sit back and let the kind of my overall view of the market decide what I'm going to take. And sure, I miss some stuff and I don't take some stuff as aggressive, and there are trades that go without me, and that's okay because it's all good. Like, I know Tesla this morning was just absolutely beautiful and may or may not have taken like a very small scalp in here, but I was not as interested in Tesla because we came into a lot of support. So if you missed the initial move in Tesla, here was what I was thinking. I had this on earlier, actually right about here. So if you missed the move in Tesla earlier, and JR talked about this, he's talked about this a lot too, you're coming into some major support. I mean, if you look left on your chart, you're coming into a lot of support. So there's no guarantee you're going to break down quickly and we're just going to get this massive drop. So what needs to happen to get there? Okay, well, what's the market doing? Do I think Tesla is just going to break this level? Can it break this level? Yeah, it just came down really strong, but we're into a high level of support and it's about 10 a.m. I don't like what I see in Tesla. I do not want to take it aggressively and take it short. I do think it's going lower, but that's not necessarily right now the trade I want. I mean, if you do this, you can tell that it did go down and it ended up hitting your target and all that. But I chose to leave this one alone because it was actually at support. So I thought it would take longer to break and get me green, or to get me where I wanted, and it might need to chop around. We'd have to do some of this. We'd have to mess around for a little bit. So instead of just being like, okay, Tesla's a name that's working right now, I'm going to get it. I'm like, well, Tesla's into support. The Qs also came into support. They're popping some. What name is at a place where I think it's going to go, like in the direction I think it's going to go on the day, i.e. like what's your hourly sell setup that's setting up, like the Head and Shoulders 15-minute in NVIDIA? What's something on a larger time frame that is going to move in the direction I want it to for the longest period of time, or is about to reverse in that direction? And so as I was kind of thinking through what names I wanted, Netflix was on the radar for the morning. It was on the radar from JR talking about it. It's been on the radar. So it's running up while Tesla and some of this other stuff is running down, and while we scalp some of that and we take it short. And now it's like, okay, I'm just sitting back and okay, Tesla's coming in, or sorry, Netflix is coming into resistance. All right, so it's coming into resistance. It's near the top of this range. This was the breakout that failed yesterday from the other day. It failed to get through it, and instead of coming down and finding support, so if this would have been strong and gone higher, it would have found support here and bounced up. It didn't. Just boom, boom, all the way back down to the bottom. Double test. Instead of breaking down instantly, I mean, Geronimo talked about today, he called it like they were, this basically the market makers just, catching some, getting in their shorts up here for the move all the way down to 312. So it makes its early morning liquidity run and then starts rolling over, take it short at the break. And this at 10:30 to me looked like a higher conviction trade that it was going to come in, as opposed to something that at 10:30 was at support and at a high conviction bounce level that might take a little bit to go. So while I'm sitting there from 10 to 10:30 waiting for something, that's what's going through my mind. That's what I'm looking at. Zooming out, looking left. Where is everything at? What is the probability of it going? How heavy do I want to put myself in? What's the risk I'm exposing myself to? And Tesla, I mean, it was obviously weak. It obviously worked. But what was I looking at here as opposed to what I was looking at there? If I would have took this at 10:30, this breakdown, depending on, unless you got in up here at the 21, I would have had to hold this. I was off, like I left by then. So I would have had to wait until basically I was already done with my trade. They both actually worked about the same time. But that would have been a much harder hold with a lot less move than watching a name that basically did a two-wave corrective in Netflix into the top of a range that we've been in a couple days, reverse short with a fibbable leg. Once you get down here, you take your profits and just wait. A fibbable leg, a ledge setting up on the 5-minute. If you look at the 5-minute, did like a little rising wedge, a lot of topping tails into the 21. This was my short, the failed 5-minute breakout in the VWAP. It started going down. I said I was short, or adding to my short here, chopped around a little bit. I had to leave somewhere around here as it started breaking. And then I had some that sold here, and then my fib targets, the 127 and 160 were the two targets I had off this leg down. And I obviously didn't catch it to there. And if I was a swing trader and holding stuff overnight, I'd be looking for 1280, and I'd just stay in the position. That being said, there's a point to this now with what happened today and what I saw and what I'm thinking about, and at least in this name, what I'm doing here tonight and what I'm going into tomorrow. So, and by the way, if you're still watching this, feel free to leave a like. It does help the channel, helps all that kind of stuff. We are trying to grow. I think we might be 700 followers now, and I am coming up on video 100, so I do need to do something, or at least live show 100. But so looking at this tomorrow, what do you see? Okay, so you see your neckline break on your Head and Shoulders and Netflix. So what could happen tomorrow? What am I looking for first thing in the morning? Because we talked through, okay, this is what happened today. And I do this in my head when I'm looking at charts at night before, if I'm trying to come up with an idea for tomorrow. And, what happens if the market or Netflix opens up slightly higher? Like, I almost expect Netflix to test 35, 325.24 tomorrow, and as high as about 325.60. If we open up flat or slightly up, and if Netflix gets in this range, I will be looking for a continuation short, and I will be looking to short Netflix for, I mean, now this is market dependent. This is the idea, and then we come in tomorrow and we look at the tape and we decide what we're going to do based on where things are at and what they're doing. So you might get this little pop, but I'm looking for that neckline retest. Might not come. Hopefully we don't just gap down to freaking $10 or something. But I would like us to open up flat or slightly elevated with a little bit of a pop at the open, maybe into the 2-minute 200, maybe, you know, up into, let's see where that is, but somewhere up into that 25, mid 25 area is basically your retest of that neckline. And then I don't know how to draw. I wish there was a draw tool on here. Is there a draw tool on your computer? I'm going to look it up after this, but so I could actually draw instead of, there's got to be something. This is TC2000. They don't seem to have anything, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to, you can see my little mouse. So you can hit this and then look for a move down. Maybe we make that move tomorrow. You know that Netflix has that potential in it. It's ATR on the day. Definitely can get you down there. Move that. Definitely can get you down to the, 312s. That's what I'm looking for. That's a setup that I'm looking for. So tomorrow, when I sit down in the morning, I'm going to see where's Netflix. If we're down here, I'm just going to be pissed off and stupid thing, I should have held it. But if we're flat or anywhere around here, I'm going to look for a continuation, or the higher conviction is, let's see if we test this neckline. So maybe there's a couple names, maybe there's some that I like and I don't. And Netflix is really hard early. It's all over the place. The options jump $1 or $2 at a time. It's like Amazon back in the day, kind of. Really hard to scalp. But when it does kind of behave, when it starts settling down and working, it can behave really well. It just doesn't behave early. So I'm going to see if it wants to test this level, give us a shooting star into something in this 25, 26 area, and then I'm going to see if it wants to reverse lower into 280. And if that takes a while, and if I don't like what I'm seeing, I'm just not going to trade him. Like, I just don't like what I'm seeing, and I do that with whatever name it is I'm looking at, or I'm trying to find something. Technician was, I don't remember when it was, so I'm not going to point it out on the chart. But, people are asked questions, and you'll look at something, and it's kind of like the NVIDIA trade. What is it, the NVIDIA trade short? NVIDIA almost retested this, so you're in this. NVIDIA could be a short tomorrow, depending on what the market does. Like, it did hold up and bounce, but kind of like that break, you broke, you're back in here. If it can't hold that 63.60, you could come back down. It did break out there though, so we'll see what it does early, but it could get a little bit of a pop and then a rollover. That would be nice for a move into 53.39. I need to draw some more levels on my charts, but I'll be looking at some of this stuff tomorrow. Tesla. I mean, Tesla's kind of the reverse in a way. So if I was looking at this chart right now, and I was in a vacuum, I don't know where we're going to be, what we're going to be doing tomorrow, but you have here is a zone. There's a value zone in here. We tested it. Tested the top of it the first time and instantly V-bottomed, and now we platformed. I could see Tesla making a run up tomorrow. If, depends on what the market is, depends on where it is. It wouldn't surprise me. Tesla does what it wants to see it test the mid-range of here. So I could easily see it coming in. Like, I mean, it's not very much in Tesla right now, but yeah, I could easily see it coming back in to, $93 or so. If you platform here, you could do it in the pre-market, but if you just kind of platform out and you break out, I could see a measured move off this V-bottom taking place in Tesla. So I'll come up with stuff like this. I'll be like, okay, is Tesla setting up on my hypothesis, on my theory for what it could do today? Could it actually do this? What I was thinking the night before, or when I sit down in the morning, do I like where I'm at in the trade? Do I like the way things are setting up? Yes, no, maybe. Could it come up and test this descending channel line again? So before it pushes lower, if it pushes lower, or is it just going to instantly fail and come down? So there's always a few options for what could happen. And I'm trying to sit there, slow down the way I'm trading, pick names that are doing something that makes sense to me on a larger time frame that I can then shrink down and be like, okay, I now want to try this, and here's my entry on the shorter time frame. So instead of just jumping in everything, and yes, sometimes I'll scalp and I'll do the stuff. I'm like, oh, this looks like a good little 30-cent scalp, or this looks like this. I mean, yeah, I will still do that, but not very often, not very heavy. And I'm really much more focused on the stuff like the Netflix trade today, because that, to me, there is almost every day a few trades like that I can find and pick out if I'm patient. And I don't have to sit there and be up or down because I wanted to scalp 50 times early and I was just playing aggressive trying to make my money in the first 10 minutes. If I wait and look, I can find those trades. And I have really been trying to focus my trading on that to make myself a better all-around trader and a more consistent trader as far as the averages of my hits to losses and stuff, and then cutting my losses and making sure that if I take something like a Netflix there, realizing what the downside is. And I'm just using that as an example because I called it out today and I was trading it today. Like, okay, it is going up. What happens if it holds? What happens if it actually holds this and goes up? It doesn't matter that I don't think it's going to. I'm not just putting everything I have in this short 100 contracts and holding it, letting it go. It's like, okay, what's your legitimate risk? Maybe it wants to do a double top. We had 2 legs up, a 2-way of corrective. It's a 5-minute. Maybe we're going to base here and go higher. I didn't think so, but maybe we did. Okay, if we do, where would it go? Where could it go? Well, it could go to 35 or 36. Okay, what's the delta on my options? All right, so I need to take this option. I'm going to lose 40 cents a dollar. So 40 cents a dollar in the move. So $2 up. I need to be able to lose 80 cents. So I should be willing to put in about 120. So about a $1.20 loss on my options if it goes up to the top. And I probably should, maybe I want to set the stop above that, or maybe I want to, maybe we'll see what happens. Maybe you add there, so you add a small position here, and then you like, okay, if it gets there, I'm going to do this. Now your Tapex at the Tesla is at the apex of a wedge on a daily chart. I'll take a look at it. But so I'm starting to think about my trades like that, and then implement my trades like that. So I'm a little bit more patient, finding the one that works, or a few of them that works. If it doesn't work, realizing what the risk is, taking it off, being like, well, if it does break out here to the upside, I'll wait for it to put in a topping pattern up here. So I'm just going to take a 40-cent loss. I'll wait for it to put in a topping pattern, and I'll get back in at another time. And kind of coming up with stuff like that is how I've been trying to find my trades, and that's why I'm not necessarily as active. Like, I'm getting in this, I'm getting in that on Discord when we're talking, because I'm not actually like hyper scalping everything. I'm not jumping in everything. I'm just waiting. Like, I'm waiting for something. I like this. I don't like this. Yeah, that looks good. Or that doesn't look great to me. It's not where I want to trade it, like Tesla today. So Tesla on the daily is at the apex of a wedge. You are correct. I had like this channel drawn on a different one the other day, and I don't remember because I deleted my bottom line, but I probably could do that. I could probably do it a different way too, more like that, honestly, because you broke, you retested, you came back in, you want to draw it there, but I could also do it like this. So many ways to do this. I wouldn't do it like that, but yeah, Tesla definitely. This descending tops line, I'm watching it like a hawk. If Tesla does want to pop tomorrow, so like looking at Tesla for, it tested the bottom of this breakout here, or the bottom of this last zone where this breakout occurred. It bounced off of it, it V-bottomed, and we were getting a platform, or we'll probably get one in the pre-market, and then there's a chance you could test the 93, like I said earlier, 95, this descending channel line. If this descending line comes in, I'll be watching it to see if it breaks out. So if it breaks out, you're going to take that run at $98. It's been so hard to break through. if it hits it and it's failing to get through it, that might be like the Netflix trade yesterday where I'm looking at it and I'm like, it doesn't look like it's going. The market's coming in. I'm going to short Tesla up here with a stop above the wedge. If it breaks out, I'll look to switch and go long after it breaks out, and then tag gives me a 2-minute green takes red. And on the flip side, if it fails, look, if it's hitting this descending channel line and can't get through this tops line and can't get through it at, tomorrow would be somewhere around $95. And it can't get through that, 95 to 96. And it can't get through that, I'm going to look for a Tesla short up here. So tomorrow, if depending on where the market's at, I might sit down and be like, all right, I'm not jumping into Tesla early. I'm going to wait and see how this wedge plays out on the daily. I'm going to see if we get into this top zone, because we came into the 8, the 21, and we kind of hammered off the on the daily. So I think there's a good chance that you were using 1.9 for the bottom. I think there's a good chance that we could break out. You're using 1.9, 126, 1.9. You're down here, and where this was at, basically. That's a good line. I mean, that's a nice thing about like drawing it. I don't think, like, when it comes to line, there is an exact and I think right answer. But then also, if you get the general picture and see where it's at, and you look at your moving averages, I find it funny, Con, and it's actually hilarious, when your moving averages line up on larger time frames with descending tops lines and stuff. Like, you'll have a descending tops line, and then you'll have a 15-minute 200 at the exact same point, and you're like, well, you know what I'm going to do here? It's like, I'm not going long into that. And it's kind of funny how it lines up. So I like to kind of look at those things together as the market comes in sometimes, as just like a kind of telltale. There's nothing there now. If anything, you have, nothing that far away. I hate TC2000's charts with their trend lines. Absolutely hate them. They're only really accurate on the time frame you draw the line. They're not always horrible, but they're definitely not to the point. I don't know if any of them are. Either way, so you retest that. I'm going to see if we test the top of this channel tomorrow. Just like if you want a preview and you can't be at the show tomorrow, what I'm going to watch for in Tesla, I'm going to see if we come into basically the descending tops line and what happens when we get there. And maybe I'll take a long at the open if it's just flat and it doesn't break down. Maybe it puts in a higher pivot low at $87 and the market's rallying for some reason tomorrow. Maybe we take a long into the top of that, then we get some off and we see if it wants to break out, come back and test and break out, or if it just wants to hit 98 and fail. And if it's really slowing down here, the tape's slowing down, sellers are coming in, maybe we look for the reversal and we play it short back down. So if it goes short tomorrow, let's say we go into the top here, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a sell setup that's going to take me back down to yesterday, because that's probably where it's going to fail. I don't think it's going to mess around here in the middle very much. Like if it goes up here and it fails, it's probably going to break down and kind of fail hard and start coming in for the rest of the week, right? Maybe. And then you retake in here and you come down to the 75s and you kind of come back in possibly to, what would the measured move on that be? I draw a box. But so then you're looking at it coming, back down here, 78 or so. $10 in a day is not too much to ask for sometimes. So that's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm starting to look at stuff. When I'm not trading a lot, it's because I don't see something that is what I want to take. Good evening, Rebecca. What's going on? I don't see something that's perfect for me, so I'm leaving it alone. And I'm waiting for that trade. Because every day, even on my red days back in the day, I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit here till I can find a really good trade. And then it comes, and I take way too much size, but I get green, or I blow up. And instead of doing that, I'm just going to hang out and wait for that trade to come. Those trades that I understand what's happening on larger time frames, I can see it. Maybe JR and Kelly are seeing the same thing. Maybe we all get it, and then we're like, okay, all right. Now I'm going to take this trade here. That's what I'm sitting here looking for. Not the 2-second hyper scalps. Yeah, sometimes there is like, when you have something, those things are there. And definitely on stuff like Tesla this morning, when you just had your, you basically just open up with a, massive boom, boom, there's your one and done, two and done, or you have this here, here's your Mark 1, if you like those type of know your limit 8. It's like, first green bar, I'm going to short, something like that. Yeah, sure. Why would I short this green bar? Actually, this one's actually kind of at support. You might not want to support it here because short it there because it's at support. So there is some support from a pivot in the other day. So this is a harder one to take. But if you're taking it and you're looking at it, and it's like, man, off the 1 minute, we just right out of the open. This is the first green bar. I'm going to short through the bottom of it. Yeah, sure. I'll do stuff like that. Still going to do stuff like that. That's not the majority of what I'm doing right now. I know, right, Con? They are. They're awesome. I don't know where I'd be without them. I love trading with you guys. I love trading with them. It's great to learn and to kind of grow, and not only grow ourselves, but see other people grow. So I love it. But yeah, I mean, still looking for stuff like that early, still looking for those, but that's not where I'm making most of my money right now. That's not even where I'm putting most of my risk at in the day. I'm waiting for something like that Netflix trade that I can identify, that I can put together, that I see what's happening, not just like, oh, there's a 30-cent scalp here. I'm going to take 100 contracts and make $3,000 really quick. Oh, you probably came to a subpar session of mine from a really good one of his. So I didn't get to watch it because I was putting my kids down, and I had the boys. When I put my daughter down, I have my earpiece in, and I can kind of chat because I'm like feeding her and in there. But then the next night, I put the boys down, and I'm putting them down. I can't like be on my phone, so I missed it. I'm going to go back and watch his. I'm actually probably going to go back and watch his now. I've got to do some other stuff, and then I'm going to go to bed. I've started an early morning wake up training early in the morning routine to get it out of the way. So we wake up at 4 with my daughter anyway. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm already up. Let's go get it. And I regret that decision like a lot. A lot. Yeah, I'll check out JR. His range trading and learning how to see those levels, in the range on multiple days. And what I'm learning and trying to do is position myself in trades in those levels to be winners and not losers, and understanding the risk there and how much you want to risk for me. And then how to take the trade off and not look for the home runs, but some of that stuff. So I'm going to go back and listen to his. I appreciate you guys. If you're watching this after the fact or even watching it now, leave a like. Definitely appreciate it. Chat. I'm going to start answering comments on YouTube, so definitely throw some chat. Grad school. Yeah, that's the best college you can get. Learning with these guys. So I'm going to be trying to, again, start this stuff up. Well, it'll take me a little bit to kind of get back in the swing of things, so do bear with me. I appreciate it. And we'll hit it back, and we'll start getting into the swing of things on the channel end of all this, and, beefing up the Discord and some of the other stuff, just to the level of whatever helps the people that are doing this. I'm not looking to make $1 million doing, I ain't no guru, but I'm just trying to come in here and do what I can to help me get better, to help, the guys who want to use this to get better as a tool. That's all it is. So, and to maybe teach some people some stuff. So love you guys. Have a great, great evening. I will see you all, tomorrow. Actually, really quick, I may not be on tomorrow. I will post in there. I have a Discord. I have a Discord. I do have a Discord. AT&T is coming out to run their fiber network to my house. So they're here between 8 and 10. And they're like, it could take 4 hours or 30 minutes. So I don't know. I'll let y'all know as soon as I know what I'm going to be doing. I will be trading whenever they're not. But I also have my kids all day tomorrow. My wife is going to shopping. So I'm going to get the kids while she goes out because I'm golfing all day Friday. So that'll work out pretty nicely. So because of that, I'll let y'all know in the Discord if I'll be on tomorrow. But either way, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. And thanks for everything.